Welcome to Quinnipiac University's Multicultural Admitted Students Day. At Quinnipiac, we believe excellence is inclusive and built upon equity, which is why we have meaningful conversations in our community. As you consider joining Bobcat Nation, we want to show you the conversations happening in and out of the classroom that will shape your Quinnipiac experience. Share your thoughts, opinions, and any questions that you have in the comment section, and we'll be sure to answer them live. For more information on future events, click the card above. We look forward to seeing you on campus. Go Bobcats!
How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're gonna just kind of kick it off with a real simple question that's difficult at the same time, all right? Why did you choose Quinnipiac?
I chose Quinnipiac because of the School of Communications. I'm a journalism major with a minor in School of Business. I thought the School of Communications program stood out from the other schools that I visited, and I love journalism. Like, I wanted to be on camera. Hey, I'm on camera. So I was like, this is right up my alley. I thought it was a beautiful campus. I did visit with my mom. Some people don't visit campuses, but I encourage people to visit campuses before you go to a university. That way you see every part of it as well.
Coming here and seeing, I really want to be a dentist, so pre-dental, Anna Gilmore, the pre-health advisor, always I've heard so many good things about her, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot, maybe I'll like Quinnipiac, and here I am a senior now, and I'm like, oh, I'm old, and I'm gonna leave.
I've been asked why Quinnipiac for the past 4 years I've been here, and I've never been able to really just draw back and look at it. But the one question that I have been able to answer is why I stayed at Quinnipiac, and that's mainly because of the community that I felt. I mean, as soon as I came to my freshman year, I remember going to events and just feeling so connected, a part of a community for the first time. Even the hockey games, which I've never been to a hockey game before coming to Quinnipiac, and I thought I would hate it, and then all of a sudden you see all these people really spirited and they really just get behind a cause. There was something that just stood out to me about that, and I guess that's why I felt that I belong here, is because of the community sense.
And I guess for me, it would be the amazing 3+1 program. Just like Dina, I love being a journalism major. I love the field. And I think that dual degree program is what really pulled me into Quinnipiac. Because not only am I gonna get, my bachelor's degree in 3 years, but also my master's. So I thought in terms of career goals and where I wanna be in the next 5-6 years would definitely put me on track for doing what I want to do best, a journalist.
All of you are at different years. If you think about your senior self in high school, when you were starting out this journey, considering campuses, what do you wish you knew then that you know now about this experience?
I wish I knew that I didn't have to know everything. I came into college, I switched my major. It's also very normal. I was ashamed of even a class I had to drop out of because I wasn't going to pass it, but that's college. That's the beauty of the process. Coming into college, I had the expectations that I was going to be a specific person, look like a specific person within the next 3 to 4 years that I envisioned myself here at Quinnipiac, and she's completely different, okay? And she is bomb. She's even better than what I had imagined and manifested for myself. So it's honestly it's just really being patient with the process of life. It extends beyond college, but for me, I've learned and have nurtured patience.
Oh no, I completely agree with Dina. The person I was in high school, thank God, I'm not her anymore. Thank God, she's pretty cool then, but
yeah.
If I was her now, I'd be you gotta, because you grow so much and you don't realize yes, your classes have changed you and they mold you into the person you are, but the people around you as well, at Quinnipiac, the people I surround myself with, the people I've gotten to meet, just any experience I've had here has made me a way better person, and leaving here, I feel content in who I am, and I feel more confident in who I am, and I'm proud of that.
I wish I would have known, just starting off my journey at Quinnipiac, to take advantage of every single resource that they offer. The way that I've thought about it for the past 4 years has just been about thinking about Quinnipiac and the student experience like a buffet almost. You can either get just breadsticks and tap water, or you can actually eat your fair share, because you already paid the money, so you might as well just get your fill. You might as well eat until you actually feel full and satisfied. So you get the seconds, you get thirds, you get desserts, you get free drinks, whatever. You just want to I equate that to kind of just like, going to events, like going to all these speakers, going to like, the Zumba classes, going to, taking advantage of the therapy services that our university offers. Like, I just wish I would have known, like, since freshman year to just take advantage of all of those things.
I'm a first-year student. I just got out of high school not too long ago. But even throughout my first semester here at Quinnipiac, I feel like I've learned so much. Like, I feel like my sense of independence, responsibility, and just like really advocating for myself, all of those skills have grown since I've been at Quinnipiac. And also, I think another important thing about being a first year is really getting involved, right? So that means connecting with your professors, doing little clubs and activities that you want to do. Definitely made my transition a lot easier into Quinnipiac.
So what has been an aha moment for you? Something that made you pause and like, oh, wow. Anything. It can be a revelation that you had in life along your journey and your major.
There's definitely been a lot of aha moments for me. Thank God too for that. But right before like the pandemic hit, I felt so like secure in like every aspect of my life, like what the track that I was going on and everyone who was in my life. I felt like everything was going the way it was supposed to. And then pandemic happened and like things took a turn for me. But like going through that made me realize like, oh, I'm actually way stronger than I expected. Like even if things like take a turn, even if like my plans for the future don't go directly as I want it, I realize that I could really make it through anything. And there's still way more to come for me. I'm not saying like, oh, this is like the only thing, but it made me realize more of myself.
I think very similar to Ursa and Dina, it was just like about just realizing the independence that I had in college and kind of taking control of, how to manage that time that I had. But once I really just kind of got a grasp on it, I just realized that like, this is what I was meant to do. Like, this is preparing me for the real world. It's not your parents waking you up for class every day. Like, you're just on your own. And like, I think having those tools that college gives you is what really did it for me.
College is a lot of trial and error. There's going to be some times where you know exactly what to do, and other times you're like, girl, what are we doing here?
Oh, that's a little too often for me, but yeah.
Yeah. So as like I said, as a first year, there was a lot of those moments for me. Like I didn't know where my classes were. I had to like leave my dorm room really early to find out where I was going. But also when it comes to like schoolwork and projects, just making sure that you plan it out however you see fit is definitely going to help you in the long run.
When you think about the process and coming here, when you get to campus, and sometimes you feel like you have to do everything yourself. What are some of the ways or services that you've used here on campus to help make your journey here at Quinnipiac a little bit easier?
For me, definitely coming here, it was a really big change because I was like the type of person who like, I didn't need to study as often. Like I was really good, like with tests, everything was just good. Everything, like I didn't need to study, it was fine. I get to college and I have my first like bio exam. That was so bad for me. I cried. I was like, I'll say now, I'm a senior now, but I got to see it. I know it's like, that's fine, whatever, but like, for me, that was a big hit. I was like, oh, this is not it. So going to peer review sessions, like taking hold of like tutors, like who like were specific for that class and were upperclassmen and like people that I got to know like through like getting involved and being like, just meeting them through like different events. They've helped me out so much. They don't even know. Honestly, they do not even know because I would not be where I am without them.
For me, it would be my advisors, both like academic and student orgs. And something that I really wish that I had started doing earlier was like investing more into those advisors of like building a long-term relationship, because I feel like, you have like a really nice professor that you like your freshman year, and then that's the end of it. Like you never talk to them after that year. But then when it comes around to like your senior year, like you're looking for a letter of rec and like they don't remember you. So I think it's important that you just like kind of really build those relationships and maintain them. Like if they're doing like some kind of research, like, Ursa in our health science, like, you have to like kind of like get your foot in the door and just like be like, hey, like, I'm, your student from freshman year. Like I'd love to like, help out with this. If you have any opportunities or any availability.
I'm honestly still learning how to use my resources. Don't get me wrong, I had those relationships and people there, but there is a comfort I have with people. So I wasn't so secure in myself and comfortable to talk to certain people because one, of course, the majority of the people, they don't look like me. So I'm like, how do I start those conversations? And I'm learning, finally as a junior, I can use professors, advisors, friends, like your network and also your village is everyone who's around you. You're probably still gonna keep learning until it's gonna go like outside of college, and that's really the beautiful thing about resources and just networking with Quinnipiac.
And I think one thing for me is use the office hours that professors hold. Last semester, going to office hours, just talking to my professor, even if I wasn't really struggling, just like, hey, can you review this essay for me? Or can you look at my final project, give me any pointers? Professors really like to see when you're engaged with them, you seek for help if you need it, or even just to talk with them. That definitely makes them remember you. And it's something that you want to make sure you do in college because they're going to be there for you no matter what, but you have to put that work in first.
There's a saying, it's not who you know, it's who knows you, right? And I think that faculty-student relationship is important because I have, like when I have my office hours, sometimes students don't come up, they don't show up, right? But the students that do, and we engage and they ask questions, when it comes to getting that letter of recommendation, I can say more than, oh, this person took my class, they got a B. I can talk about, oh, we engaged during office hours, we worked on this research project, like the way that they think is brilliant, is magnificent, but I couldn't write that in a letter if we didn't have that relationship. Now, one of the things that you said, struggling sometimes to start the conversations because sometimes people didn't necessarily look like you. You know, Quinnipiac is a historically or predominantly white institution. What has your experience been being a student of color on this campus?
Definitely when I was a first year, I didn't know how to make a space my own. So I'd walk in, I'd feel like I was invading other people's space and I didn't feel welcomed or comfortable just because, one, no one really looked like me and I felt completely, even though I grew up right down the road, I felt like a whole different atmosphere. And then as I grew up and I got to really know myself and know my worth and knowing that once I walk into like a room, I want to make it my own, regardless of who's in there, and I'm gonna make it known that like you need to respect me, you need to listen to me, and I'm here. That's when like things started changing for me, and I realized that like I'm worth like way more than like I feel in my mind. So
Yeah, I think for me, starting off my first semester, there were a lot of moments of like imposter syndrome. And I felt like, man, like, do I really deserve to be here right now? Or if I was struggling and other people seemed to understand the class material much more than me, I'm like, man, why am I falling behind? Like, is there something wrong with me? But then when I look at my peers and compare their preparedness to mine, I deserve to be here. Thinking of it that way made me realize that I have every right to be here and I can just be the student just like everybody else. I earned my spot at the table.
I've been used to growing up in a predominantly white community my entire life, so it wasn't necessarily different when I came here, but something that was different was that I had to kind of just actually deal with being in a predominantly white community. But like this is the first time where I had to actually come face to face with it and actually have to like navigate through it because it never has been so much in my face. And there was just something that I remember when one of my friends, he like told me one, don't change yourself to meet the university standards, like change the university to meet your standards. And that has resonated with me so much in terms of making this place my home because, you know, I found myself like my entire life just like changing myself, like adapting to meet like everyone else's standards except for when I came here. And now I realize that like Quinnipiac and just college in general is just like what you make of it, like you're able to shape it into whatever experience you want. And then that's what really just like hit it home for me.
You don't want to limit yourself by just looking for the people who look like you. So when I came on campus, I'm like, I'm gonna meet the other kids who look like me and I'm gonna make them my friends. Like I'm gonna make our community, like that is my goal walking in here. But once I had my experience and I kind of missed out on those other relationships and other opportunities, I was like, okay, well, let's take a step back and realize that you still value the importance of character. So just not on looks, but character as well. So that's when I've expanded my network and also those in my village and those who are around me. So I was like, okay, like I can make this work. And now like, look at us sitting here. Like this is amazing.
As you enter into different spaces, you're going to continue to have to build networks. You're going to continue to have to take up space in different environments. You're going to continue to have to shift those spaces to suit, you know, who you are. And you're going to also, unfortunately, like we deal with imposter syndrome. Like, you know, I've dealt with that throughout my career, right? And these are things that we work through. It's not the place where you stay, but you build up a skill set to be able to get you to the next way. And so one of the ways that in which we build up skill sets or become better leaders is by being involved on campus?
For me, going in, I chose 3 things I was really passionate about. So I've always been passionate about community service. I'm Muslim, so definitely I wanted to get involved with the Muslim Student Association, and I want to go into dentistry. So I joined the MSA, the Pre-Dental Society, and the big event, which is the Day of Community Service. And from there, I tried building myself up within the organizations, and then again being an orientation leader, the people I met through that experiences, good and bad, seeing the transitions for first years, involvement plays such a big factor in how you develop as a person, and I hope many first years take the opportunity from the jump and really get involved into stuff that they're passionate about.
Freshman year, I got involved with the Student Government Association, which took a huge portion of my involvement for the past 4 years. And I think it was just a matter of, the Student Government Association having some kind of say with administration, we're the liaisons between students and faculty. I think that was something that I was introduced to and that I really was passionate about, just advocating for the person that doesn't have a voice or doesn't have as big of a voice to reach the faculty. But the thing that really shifted a lot for me was when I got involved with Main Stage Theater my junior year. The subject matter of the production that they did that year was just so raw and visceral, something that I've never had to really deal with. But the amount of things that I learned, till this day, I'm how did I not pay for that? That seemed I've learned so much more from that, just in being involved in that one thing than I have in any class that I've taken. But it's just it just felt so immersive, and you're just in it, and you dealt with everything that was going on, and you learned so much from other people's experiences.
I'm also the first year vice president of student government, and coming into college, something that was also different is this whole idea that no matter how young you are, no matter your grade level, you can take on a leadership role. You don't have to wait till your senior or junior year until you're an upperclassman to really step up to the plate and be a leader. So that was something that I really wanted to do coming to Quinnipiac, and I was able to through student government. And I feel I've learned a lot of skills in terms of going to meetings, talking to administrators, and also advocating for my class. Especially this year with the pandemic and everything being different, it's really important for me to fix any issues that the other students may be having. And also personal growth, I grow as a leader, I grow as a person, and I'm able to make a difference in my own ways.
I completely agree with that. Some of the organizations I've decided to join on campus is the Quest program. Livy is a part of it as well. It's honestly an amazing opportunity to meet other incoming freshmen and also to bond with other juniors and seniors and sophomores here on campus. You learn a lot about international students as well, because there are international students who are part of the Quest program. I have also enjoyed being one of the 4 founding members of NABJ, which is National Association for Black Journalists, which will be coming up this upcoming semester. So I'm really excited about that. There's so many clubs. We can all sit here and talk about the anime club, the gaming club, BSU, ACSU, and for those that don't know, Black Student Union and African Caribbean Student Union. We have so many multicultural clubs. The nice thing about multicultural is that you're really meeting people from other backgrounds. And what is also important for people to know is that you don't have to be in that background or culture to attend those events or to go to those organizations.
I think there's different levels of involvement too. It's not always about being a part of the club, but sometimes it's just about showing support at the events. Mm-hmm. I know some really involved people that aren't a part of specific clubs but are at every single event. And I found myself as a senior, especially post-COVID, when I thought all these opportunities would be taken away from me, trying to go to as many events as I can now. I'm trying to challenge myself to go to more things this year. In the past, it's always been this is probably going to be boring if I go to this speaker. But, I've always it's always that first step. As soon as you make that first step, you're you don't go to an event and leave without nothing.
Being a student during a pandemic, what has that been like for you? Shutting down and then coming back to campus, and you starting campus in a new type of way that we've never experienced before.
I had a really big realization at Quinnipiac that I've definitely taken so much here for granted. I think you tend to realize the things that you love as soon as you lose them for a little bit. But I will say I was so excited when I heard that we're coming back to campus. That's not like news that a lot of universities heard throughout the country, so I was like really grateful for that. And even the first semester, like, I was a little hesitant. I was like, there's nothing that's going to be the same. Like, everything's going to be so much different. And in a way, yeah, things are different, but I think the faculty and administration are doing like a lot in terms of making things feel as normal as possible, in terms of like the fact that we could be here right now, even there's still events going on, like there's intramurals and stuff like that, like it's just like, yeah, things are different, but I feel almost, dealing with the past however many months that we're all in quarantine, like away from here, like it just feels better than that.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's like the pandemic started at the end of my senior year. No prom, no real graduation with my mom, like, go live, like none of that happened. But I feel like even though senior year got cut short, just the thought of me going to college kept me going. Like, it's okay, senior year ended bad, but I'm going to school, I'm going to school, I'm going to school. I'm gonna be at Quinnipiac on campus in my dorm room. That's what really kept me going. And just like, even though the experience has been different, like there's not a lot to do in terms of like, parties and little events and things like that, I'm just happy to be here on campus and still meet people in the way that we are now, and be in the dorm room and be in the classroom has definitely made this experience much easier.
So we have the COVID pandemic, but then we have this awakening, this racial awakening, after the murder of George Floyd, seeing this renewed or new focus on diversity, equity, inclusion by a lot of places, and even some people who never seemed to care before. Have you had any interesting experiences in the midst of that pandemic, in the midst of this racial awakening?
So I'm taking a sociology course on race, gender in class right now, and I'm excited. Like I feel like this is the perfect time to take this course. It's allowing me to have an understanding and, my favorite word, patience, because that's really one of the things that need to exist in those conversations. Because a lot of people, they'll say, well, we want Quinnipiac to do this, or we want to see the differences in this, and it's like, okay, well, where do you start? And a lot of people don't know where to start. Even if it's with a professor, even if it's with a friend, it could be someone who looks like you, someone who doesn't look like you.
All right, so those conversations that matter, right? That growth. Like what other things, like for you, like with this all of a sudden focus, I think for some people on diversity, equity, justice, what has that meant for you?
I don't know, it has made me a little skeptical of their intentions behind, like now I'm the president of the MSA. I get so many emails out, which I never received before, and I've been president last year too, where it's like, oh, we wanna like partner up with you and da-da, so like just tell us what to do. And I just feel like it's so much like of them just like piggybacking on like a multicultural org, but like they don't actually want to like get to know the people, actually learn about like what's going on. And seeing those people who like come every year and like experience it and want to like learn genuinely about it, you see them wanting to learn. And then you see the people who like are kind of forced to be there for like credit, where they're like, yeah, there's definitely like my advisor, he's a professor, and he'll like give it out for extra credit. And that doesn't mean that's a bad thing necessarily, like you come and you learn new things, but there's like different emotions, you know what I mean? So I get a little skeptical where I'm like, are you just, not using me, but are you just like not generally interested? Because I don't want to speak to someone who doesn't actually generally want to speak about different topics of race, ethnicity, like my background. I am completely open to talking about like my religion as well. Like I'm not the greatest Muslim in the world, but I'm still like open to speaking about the hijab and how I wear and what I wear and what's going on if you just ask me a question. But it's always assumptions, Are they intentionally doing it for good or bad or what? I don't know.
I mean, some people are seeming to be like opportunistic and doing things that are symbolic, but not necessarily really intentional or from the heart, like to get to know people. So I can definitely hear that.
I think it's definitely opened up new conversations that I've never had before in any of my classes. I mean, even in like my education classes, because I'm in the teaching program at Quinnipiac, and a lot of these classes, their curriculum wasn't necessarily based on how to teach and like incorporate cultural inclusivity in like the classroom. But you could see ever since like these events that happened, the professors are starting to build that into the curriculum, and it's like really interesting to see that like, not even just like those classes, but just like in general, that like people are having this conversation more. I just wish people would just like get to know like me, as opposed to like just like trying to like take advantage of like clear their conscience or something, like make it like symbolic, like what you said. So there's just been like a lot of just like different narratives and like different conversations that have been happening all around campus. But I think the headline that like plus side is like at least it's happening.
And I think for me, it was one of those things where, yes, we have to have these uncomfortable conversations, and that's okay. Because through those uncomfortable conversations, we learn more about where people are coming from, what they think. Like, for example, me and my roommate, she's white from Long Island, I'm black from the Bronx, like two different worlds coming together. But I really do appreciate how she's been so open to me. And like we have so many discussions about what it was like growing up in the city. What types of food did I eat? What types of food did you eat? Where did we watch when we were little kids? And also, like, I've introduced her to a whole new world, and it's something that we both can share together, and it's been really great. So I think another takeaway is that even if things might seem a little uncomfortable or you don't know something, it's always good to ask. Just ask, you know?
Like what small bit of advice would you give to the student who's watching this? What would you tell them?
I would say don't feel conformed to like be who everyone expects you to be. Like be in here. I know coming from high school, especially like in now, like in this type of time and environment, like it'll be stressful and you just want to like flow under the radar and just like fit in with everyone. But if you're interested in something, like go out and do it. If you want to do something for like a second, like it's fine. Like it's all right. No one's gonna judge you. Like, and if they do, like that's not the right person in your life, you know? So I feel like just not conforming to what everyone expects you to be is like a big thing that I wish I knew coming in.
I should say, don't compare yourself to others and their progress, because you are not your roommate, you are not your peers. Like, all of that is different. So, like I said, what's for you is what will always be meant for you.
All right, what's for you is for you. Okay. You're dropping gems.
I'll quote one of my favorite movies, Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Just be open-minded, be ready to take on something that you never expected would come your way, and you'll be surprised what it'll bring to you. Just put in that work and it's gonna come back. Be your true authentic self, because the things that come to you when you are your authentic self is the stuff that's gonna push you to where you need to be.
Think about your impact. When I think about the word impact, I think about, leaving someone off better than they would have been like without like, seeing you. There might be some times where you realize like, oh, like this school is like has so many students, like, I don't feel like, I contribute anything, but like the small things that you do like change, like there's like a whole butterfly effect that like everything like, like don't feel, I guess, insignificant.
One of the things that I wish I knew back when I was looking at school is I wish I had the opportunity to hear from people like you, right? Like who had already gone through it, right? I didn't have that opportunity to kind of see and understand the experiences that other people may be having on that campus. And so one of the other things I'll say is that hearing all of you talk, it keeps me going, right? Like seeing new students come in and you are all at different points, some of you who are leaving, it lets me know that higher education matters, right? Higher education can change a life's trajectory. And so I'm really looking forward to all of the great things that all of you will do. And so thank you for taking time and sitting with this old guy.
Thank you.